All right, all right. Welcome back to the Military Retirement Podcast. How you doing, John?
Good, man. How are you doing?
All right, good. Making sure I'm not muted. I have a tendency to move my microphone and then mute the thing, so I don't know. It must be like my fat fingers or something. Anyhow, man, how's the week going? I know we were talking a little bit about that prior to, and there's a lot going on in life. So, how are you doing?
Yeah, man. Hopefully, my back is preparing me for some CMP exams here in the near future. It's been acting crazy, and I've been back and forth, been to the emergency room, trying not to take a ton of pills, but sometimes you just got to, even today, it's still pretty bad, but we'll get through it. We'll deal with it. I'm sitting in a chair, so I'm not doing too much walking around, running around today. But yeah, man, you get out, you're out for a few years, your exercise regime goes down, you do a little bit less, and then those pains and aches and things that you had in the military that you didn't really notice so much because you were moving so fast, you start slowing down a little bit and you start to realize, like, hey, got to take care of things, gotta keep an eye on things, otherwise they'll get out of hand.
That's right. That's right. Hey, real quick, good morning, Navy Cop. Thank you for being with us again, man. Always a pleasure. John, man, I know exactly what you're talking about, dude, because um, I also feel it. It might be that the 40s are catching up to me or something. I don't know, but I don't know if you see my videos on the Green Logbook. I've been posting up like little golf videos because I'm teamed up with PGA Hope now. Not teamed up, but I'm doing their program where they link you up with a golf professional and they show you how to play golf. I've never been a big golf player myself throughout my years, and there's about 20 veterans in there. But the thing is, with that, you learn a new way of moving, right? Yep. Golf is different than baseball. It's different than boxing. It's different movements. So I found that the leaning over part and just calculating the swing and all that really made my back hurt. And I think that comes from everything being connected, like the hamstrings to the hips to the back, the psoas muscles and all that stuff. So yeah, I'm feeling it too. I I have to come home and stretch. I got to come home. I was just watching a YouTube video on some chiropractor who was teaching you stretches for lower backs and all that. So it's definitely catching up, but I attribute that to not doing it the right way when I was in the service. Because back then I was younger, like my body can move in different ways, and now it's like, okay, well, all the things that I neglected, back in the day, that's catching up to me now. So I got to take care of it if I want to be able to walk when I'm 70 or 60 or whatever.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's I'll tell you, like, the thing that I do normally to kind of keep it in check. I mean, it hurts either way, no matter what I do. But usually when I try to keep it in check is I do like a kind of a squat sit where I go down as far as I can. And it's pretty much all the way down, but it's painful going all the way down, painful coming all the way up. But at that point where my back is extended and stretched, it kind of stretches it out a little bit. But yeah, that bending over thing, man, middle of the back, lower back, like all that stuff just gets tight and you can feel it. And it's the lack of doing all these different lateral exercises and lifting a little bit of weights, tightening the core, and like it's just this chain reaction that happens. And when it does happen, it happens like instantaneously, and then you're down for the count for, I don't know, a day or two or whatever. And my son just happened to be in town visiting, and I had to like pause everything on a day off to run to the emergency room and go sit there and enjoy their company. They were really great folks, took care of a lot of things. They were like, look, we don't have exactly the medication that you're looking for, but we'll get you set up with as much as we can. We want you to do a follow-up because this is really something you need to keep tabs on it. And that kind of gave me a little bit of a kick and a reminder, like, yeah, I probably need to go back and visit the doc, get some more scans done. I haven't done scans in a couple of years and those kind of things. Plus I'm in the process of getting my claims updated. So I think it's just nature's way of saying, hey, you should focus on this as well. Like, don't neglect it.
Nature's way of saying, hey, look, let's get you another 10%.
Or get up off your lazy ass and do something. One of those things.
You know, man, that's really what it is, dude. I just went out with on a hike yesterday. You know, within limitations and stuff. You know, I still get like pains and all that stuff from the past surgeries that I've had. But went out on a hike, man, and I passed this older lady. She had to have been like in her 70s, just
Mhm.
hanging out, just with her poles on her hike. And she's like, just looked happy as can be. She's like, "Oh, you guys are so young. Have a good hike." I was with my wife. I was like, "Holy shit, man! I feel old as hell." And this lady's like 30 years older than me. Come on, I got to get to that point, man. I cannot. I got to keep focused with that because I want to be able to move when I'm 70. If I, Lord willing, if I ever make it to that age, want to be able to move and not just be like wheelchair bound or something. There's too many people out there who are like that because they just don't do anything for their bodies, man. And this is the only one you got. You got to do something about it, something for it.
Yeah, absolutely. Have to take care of the vessel. Absolutely.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So real quick, John, as we know, on Fridays, I usually release the Information Fridays on the Green Logbook, just updates for veterans. And some folks maybe haven't seen that. So I got a few updates here that I want to touch on that could affect veterans. And let me see if you could pull up like the Google
Yep. On top of it.
article on it. It's first one is veterans could avoid property tax under a new plan in Texas. So if we have anybody living in Texas, there's a new proposal that aims at giving Purple Heart recipients a full property tax exemption. It's no matter what their VA disability rating is. So right now, only veterans with 100% VA disability rating in Texas get a full exemption, and everybody else kind of down the line gets partial relief from property taxes. Right? Yeah, that's the exact one right there. So there's the military order of the Purple Heart, Chapter 598, has mentioned that they're working on this, and then they put it out. They put out a statement that this isn't about special treatment; it's about fairness and keeping faith with those who've already given more than most can imagine. So, as we know, if it passes, then that could save thousands of dollars for thousands of veterans out there and Purple Heart recipient veterans out in Texas. So we will see how that goes. They're looking to submit results to lawmakers before the year's end. So I'm curious because property taxes are high in a lot of places, and from what I hear, Texas is one of those places. The costs may be low, but the property taxes are high. Um, so we will see. We will see. Hopefully that goes through. I mean, shit, man. If you're a Purple Heart recipient and you got wounded in combat, why not get? I mean, that would be to me as a lawmaker. If I was a lawmaker, that'd be the first thing I'm fighting for. Let's take care of these veterans who actually got wounded in combat.
Yep.
So hopefully that passes.
Yeah, I'm looking at the kind of like a real quick search on property taxes just to get a kind of perspective of what it looks like in Texas. As Lone Star State is approximately 1.63% compared to the national average, which currently at 0.9%. Typical Texas homeowner pays $3,800 and some change annually in property taxes. So even if you're at 10%, 20%, that little stipend that they give you on your property taxes can probably at least handle that or take care of that, depending on the house you're in, depending on the area you're in. I'm sure places like Austin and Dallas are probably a lot higher than most places. But
oh yeah, I can imagine. So I'll tell you, man. I was reading a statement that the governor of Florida put out there, and it put things in perspective. It made sense. If you go to Best Buy and you buy, say, a camera, right? I don't know who does that these days, but if you go to Best Buy and you buy something, a camera, and you pay sales tax on that camera, you're not expected to continue to pay sales tax on that camera every year, right? You own it.
Right.
So
Right.
he's putting it in the context of property tax. So what he mentioned is he's trying to eliminate property tax, or he would like to eliminate property tax. That was a conversation that he was bringing up. Because once you buy a house, why do you have to keep paying for it, right? It's a government thing. Why do you have to keep paying for the house and the land that you purchased? So that doesn't make any sense to me. I understand that the government needs to get their cut, but
Yeah.
in reality, like, will you ever? I mean, what happens if you stop paying property tax on your home? What do they do? Put a lien on it? You never really own it, do you? So I'm looking forward to see how that goes, and that could probably be something that could spread out to different states because that's it's a pain in the ass paying that stuff, man. I just got hit up with some supplemental property tax paperwork that I got to pay by the end of this year. Nice surprise. Nice surprise. So yeah, I'm not looking forward to it. But you got to do it. I got to do it if I want to
Yep.
keep my house.
Yeah, and it's interesting
Yeah.
to think about, like, if they do it like as a one-time thing, would they actually then make the property tax like really, really, really high, or are they going to make it exactly the same the way it is? Because that
Yeah.
money supposedly goes back into like the community, it goes back into like public
Mm-hmm.
libraries and public places and fixing roads and stuff like that. I can imagine.
Yeah, I agree. So we will see, man. I don't know how they're going to offset that, but kind of I am all for having a nice community and
Yeah.
paying for libraries and all that stuff, but you never really own your house at that point. Okay. Next thing that I want to bring up was a computer glitch that is delaying higher education payments for veterans, for dependents, and survivors. And I'm feeling this one firsthand because all right, well, I'll just read off the article here. With the recent government shutdown, um, a lot of folks have been asking about the impact of veterans benefits, especially GI Bill payments. Um, the good news for the most part is that VA benefits, including GI Bill payments, are expected to continue even during the shutdown. However, there are some issues due to this shutdown and the rollout of new claims management systems. There have been delays in payments for some student veterans, particularly those using Chapter 35 benefits. This has left some students with unpaid tuition and uncertainty about their housing stipends. To make matters worse, the GI Bill hotline and other VA communication channels are closed during the shutdown, leaving a lot of veterans without answers. There's veteran advocacy groups that are calling for the GI Bill hotline to be considered an essential service and be reopened. And the American Legion is also urging the VA to have a plan in place to catch up on paperwork once the government opens again. So, like I mentioned, I'm feeling this one firsthand. My daughter is under Chapter 35. She has yet to receive any kind of the stipend that they give out for Chapter 35. And I'm supposed to be under under VR&E. That's all been paused as well. So I received an email from my counselor saying he is not monitoring his emails due to the government shutdown and all that. So things are kind of at a standstill. I understand, right? I mean, there's nobody really there to kind of do anything. People are not in office. So it's just a waiting game. But understand that if you are using GI Bill benefits or VR&E or something like that, some kind of Chapter 31, 33, 35, your tuition might not get paid. You might not get the stipend or the monthly housing allowance. So make sure you talk to your school about that and let them know, hey, due to the government shutdown, things might not go as smoothly as I thought they would, especially if you're starting school.
Yeah, and I was wondering if it affected folks who are doing the VRE program who are already enrolled. And what I'm looking at is the last payments from the Chapter 31 on the VA app. Says October 1st. So October 1st was the last payment that I got.
Yeah. So one of the guys that I go do the golfing thing with, he just got into VR&E, and he mentioned that he got in right before the government shut down. So he got his first payment, or at least he got in like a month before the government shut down and got his approval, and he got his first payment right before the government shut down.
Yep.
So no telling what's going to happen next month if this continues. I don't foresee that he'll receive a payment, but we will see. Yeah, because things are. I mean, they're not looking good right now. At least, the whole getting together, Congress and the Senate and all that stuff, getting together and coming to an agreement. But I mean, it's what, day 17, day 18, or something like that of the shutdown. I may be way off. It might be day 19. But yeah, things are affected, man.
I'm trying to figure out, do you happen to know what bill it would be in Congress that would be the one that handles the shutdown? Because they should reintroduce or introduce a new bill every year for the government fiscal spending for that fiscal year, right?
They do, yeah.
And I don't know. That's why I'm asking. I track a few of these now. It's weird because I haven't ever done this in my life. But now that we've been doing this podcast for a while, we've been talking about a few of these bills. Some of them I track on congress.gov. You can tag them as like favorites or something like that and have it send you notifications when they have something move with the bill, if they add more people to the bill. Kind of interesting. If you haven't ever looked at congress.gov, a lot of interesting stuff out there.
There's S.499, Government Shutdown Prevention Act of 2025. That was sponsored by Rand Paul. So let's put our viewers to work. Let's see who can find it the first.
Right. Let us know.
Brian, good morning, man. How are you?
Morning. Welcome to the show.
I should know this, man. I live on these freaking sites, these legislation and Congress sites, but
yeah, it looks like you're right. It looks like S.499, the 119th Congress, 2025-2026, sponsored by Paul Rand. Yep.
Yeah. So that's the one.
Go ahead. Let me go ahead and tag that just for some real quick, like sidebar educational stuff for folks. If you haven't ever been to the congress.gov site, let me just pull it up real quick. So you just go in here, just create an account, log in. And then you can go in here and in the top and search like whatever you want to search for, whether it's a keyword or if you know the number of the bill or whatever it happens to be that you're tracking or want to track or look at, and see where it's at in Congress. And you can get all the pertinent information of what the bill is, any extra text along with the bills, like all the wording for the bill, what they're talking about, the appropriations for the fiscal year, all that stuff. And then you can also get a view of the co-sponsors, which right now is 0. They have one committee and one related bill. So it's kind of, I've never been on the site prior to this year, but now that I've been on here, I can't turn my eyes off to it and can't not see it ever, unfortunately. So I'm definitely going to tag this. So there's a button over here that says subscribe.
Yeah, save all that stuff, man. It's good to be able to follow up on that.
Yep.
Yeah, I love this stuff, man. Keeping us informed. So the cool thing about this too is usually what I do. A lot of these bills are so lengthy, and I hate saying that I use ChatGPT for a lot of stuff because I do, right. But when it comes to like these bills, I will copy and paste, like select all, right? Just control A or something. Select all of it, put it in ChatGPT, or just put the name of the bill in ChatGPT and just put summarize it, or you could put keywords in there, summarize it, and spell out information on veterans, things like that. I mean, you can always use Control F if you want, but it'll spit out like a straight summary for you, or you can have it read to you by Notebook LM.
Right. Yeah. And shout out to Military Mike. Welcome to the show again. Welcome back. Good to see you.
Military Mike, good to have you, man. But yeah, so yeah, and Brian Hahn mentioned that his kid has not received Chapter 35 money either. Yeah, it's going around. I would assume that it's going to happen. I don't know if there's going to be any back pay for the months that are missed. I got no idea, man. I'm still tracking this stuff myself. So it's kind of all over the place right now. People don't know what the hell is happening. I mean, for instance, my wife is a government worker, federal worker, and she received a partial paycheck, and she's going to work in every day, right? So I don't know how that works, but a partial paycheck. I received I'm no longer a federal worker myself. That ended on 1 October, but I did receive like a lump sum payment of all the leave that I had accumulated and all this stuff. So that's good. That's good. Things are, at least I got that. I was a little bit worried if I wouldn't get that. Another thing I wanted to bring up here that hit the news, man, is that soldiers, the Army put this one out. Soldiers are being contacted by adversaries on LinkedIn, on Reddit, and it looks like Facebook too. So the Army issued a new warning that foreign adversaries are contacting U.S. soldiers on social media sites, platforms like LinkedIn, Reddit, to gather intelligence and personal data. They say that these accounts are often posing as recruiters, as veterans and defense contractors trying to gain soldiers' trust, collect sensitive info, or map out military networks. The Army's counterintelligence team says the trend has spiked recently, with adversaries using fake profiles and casual conversation to pull details about unit movements, training, and equipment. So with that, don't share any personal information. I know a lot of veterans may have secret clearances still active. Maybe you know some stuff from work in the past. Don't go sharing that stuff. I know we're all smart. We're all adults. Don't go sharing any of that personal and professional information. Let me see, what is that here? Josh Crantrell, got to be verified on LinkedIn anymore? Not tracking, brother. What do you mean? I think you're muted there, John.
Yeah, I think he means you got to have like that blue check mark by your name to be verified. I don't even know how you do that on LinkedIn.
No idea.
Never really messed with
So it got me thinking, man, because in the last week, maybe 2 weeks, I've gotten, oh man, so many messages on LinkedIn with people asking, am I interested in joining the financial industry or this business and this and that, and I'm thinking like, no, I'm not interested. I'm sorry, and they're like, why? How's everything going for you? I'm like, why do we keep going on with the conversations? I'm not interested. Thank you very much.
Hush.
Yeah. So it gets me thinking like maybe there's a connection with these folks. Cause I mean, I looked at their profiles. Some of them look legit, right? But the other ones I don't know about. Yeah, just stay on your toes. Stay on your toes with that stuff. Let me see. This one came out from Military Times. This next one. It says Air Force. It says the Qatar Air Force facility in Idaho was in the works for years. Okay, it says that it turns out that the U.S. Air Force and Qatar have been quietly working for years on plans to build a Qatar Air Force training facility in Idaho, and it's just now getting public attention. The site would host Qatari pilots and crews to train alongside American personnel, part of a long-standing defense partnership between the two nations. The deal's been in motion since about 2021, but it's recently stirred concerns among lawmakers and local residents about national security and transparency. Air Force officials say that the partnership strengthens U.S. ties with key Middle Eastern allies and helps improve interoperability, especially with Qatar hosting U.S. forces at Al Udeid Air Base. So, I'm same as the general population. I've not heard about this happening since 2021. I'm just now hearing about it like this year, right? I've been to Qatar. I think it was Al Udeid Air Bases. I think that's where the Air Force is stationed out there. I
Yep,
was out
yep,
there for R&R when I was deployed.
exactly.
And I mean, I don't know if that would that be even be considered a deployment going to that was like a recreational area. I mean, the Washington
Nah,
Redskins cheerleaders are out there when I was out there,
yeah,
or the Washington
yeah. So
Commanders.
that is definitely a deployable spot. You can get deployed to Qatar to Ayadid. They do a lot of the not only do they run the R&R program there and have people coming in every couple weeks back and forth, but they also have some mission stuff going on there, some big mission stuff going on there as far as
Yeah, yeah.
the centralized big mission, big wigs heads who are running things out there in the Middle East. And I, it's strange that people would put some opposition against that because they're an Arab country, but we've been friends with
Mhm.
Qatar for quite some time. And if it wasn't for Qatar, I can imagine like Desert Storm, Desert Shield, the continuing missions of Iraqi freedom and OEF, OIF, like wouldn't have
Mhm.
been possible without that key. That's like a key location in the Middle East. Like it's right there in the middle of everything.
Yeah, yeah, it is.
Not to mention the fact that they've built the city up over the last, like when I was there in '07, they were just starting to build up everything to put in their bid for the Olympics. They're also bidding to host the World Cup there as well. Like it's out of
Yeah.
all the countries in that area, like they're one of the most progressive, forward-leaning. Not to say that Dubai isn't, because Dubai is also up there, but it's not a country; it's actually just a city. But I don't know why you would put up opposition against that. Like they've literally helped us win wars for decades. Without their help, it wouldn't have been possible, I don't think.
Mm, yeah. Well, yeah, it might be the whole Arab country thing, I think. And especially with in Idaho, right? Idaho is what is that like a very conservative? I assume it's conservative, right? So there might be some pushback on that.
Yep.
Um, I don't know. More to come on that one. I'm curious about it. I mean, I've been out to Qatar. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, it's an R&R stop for me. It was an R&R stop for me. One beer per person per day,
Yeah.
you know, or a near beer. Everybody always opted for the Foster's beer because it was the biggest one, but it tasted like
Yeah.
garbage, right? So, and then in the auditorium, it was they made it look like a little I don't know, like a mall or something in the auditorium,
Yep.
kind of like a place to hang out with tables and all that.
Yep.
I don't know. I don't know. It was a good time. I was out there with my buddy, and then we did like the riding around in those dune buggies. You know, you could pick like different tour packages and stuff that you want to do. So we went out on a catamaran or something on in the Dead Sea and floated around, went to little islands and stuff. So it was a good time. But um, I mean, they treated us well. Everybody was friendly to us, so I can't complain about that. I don't know too much about this Qatar Air Force facility in Idaho, and it gives me a reason to now. It gives me a reason to start reading up on it.
Yep. Me too.
Yeah,
Have
Brian
to find
Hahn.
that out.
This guy gave me the system. He got 2 beers on his birthday there, smoked a nice cigar. So there people would offer you like a good amount of money to buy your beer. Like, hey, let me get your beer ticket. I
Yep.
think they give you like a little token or a ticket.
Yep.
And I'm like, I sold one of them one time. Yeah, it was like 10, $15 or something for a beer. Um, let me see, was it expensive in Qatar? So and it was about the same as any other base because I mean you can really leave the base, right? Unless you're going
Yep.
on some kind of tour. But oh gosh, I can't even remember what I paid for these tours. We did
Yeah.
the catamaran on the Dead Sea, and it was beautiful. It was beautiful, but I mean everything was paid for through the tour, right? So it was I don't know, $100, $60, I can't recall. And you got food, you got drinks, there's banana boats, jet skis, and all that stuff.
Hmm.
So it really was R&R, right? And then the dune buggy thing was super cool too. So Yeah, I couldn't tell you, man. I can't. This was back in '06, '05, '06, something like that. So
Mm.
I can't remember exactly how much it was.
Yeah. I mean, I
It
was
did.
out on the economy a couple times and it wasn't
Yeah.
so super expensive. Like it wasn't really so super expensive. Like most things in the Middle East weren't that expensive, even um in Kuwait as well. If you go downtown or whatever, it's not really so super. I don't know what it is now, of course, with inflation and all that stuff. I know if you go to Dubai, everything's expensive, but I think Qatar
Yeah.
is still relatively cheap comparatively speaking.
So there was, I could have sworn when I was flying into Kuwait, in Kuwait City, that they had a
Mhm.
Denny's in Kuwait City.
Probably did.
Like when you take the American Airlines flight into Kuwait City, and then you got a bus into whatever, or you got to take a C-130 or something like that into whatever base you're going to. Um, and I could have sworn I looked out the window because I had a window seat, and I looked out, and there was a Denny's as we're about to land. I'm like, there's no way they have a Denny's in Kuwait City, man. How's that work?
It's pretty modern. It's pretty modern. That's why I said Qatar was pretty modern as well. Like you can,
Yeah,
we've had Chili's come up in the comments like 4 or 7 times already. So Chili's is a big
Chili's,
deal, I guess, on the
Chili's.
base. But even
I remember
outside the base, you
Chili's.
can find places like that, like Texas Roadhouse and stuff like that outside.
Yeah, Chili's, and then the Green Bean Coffee Company, right? Is it Green Bean or is it the?
Yeah.
I think it is the Green Bean. Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, out there it was all about the Green Bean, man. No Starbucks or nothing. So shout out to the Green Bean. They kept it. They really kept it going. Let me see. A space safe flight to military. Mike is asking about a space safe flight. Would he be able to do a space safe flight? I assume what, to Qatar? Probably not. I
Yeah.
don't
You
think
probably
so.
have to have some kind of mission orders or something to go there.
Yeah. Yeah. So he said, I did the resort jet ski tour and then desert Persian Gulf barbecue trip. Good times. Yeah, it definitely was good times.
Mhm.
Yeah, I miss those times. It was really good out there. Really good. But yeah, anytime it's funny the places that you remember, like the Chili's. Like I remember when I was doing training out like in Okinawa, um, people were going crazy over Popeyes because there's Popeyes on base, or there's
Right.
was it Macaroni Grill was on base, right? So, and these lines would be insane on like a Friday night. I was like,
Ridiculous.
oh, let's go to Macaroni Grill. Insane lines, dude. I'm like,
Yeah.
there's no way. There's no way. But anything to get a little taste of home. Even the Japanese folks out there were lining up. So when we'd have the air show, when I was in Iwakuni, we'd have the air show, and these folks would line up for Domino's Pizza, or it was Pizza Hut. That's where we had on base, Pizza Hut, and because there was no Pizza Hut off base, right? They wanted an American pizza because it's not the same when you go out on base and get a Japanese style pizza.
Yep.
But yeah, pizza and Doritos because they didn't have Doritos in Japan. That was a big thing. So people were just buying out all the stuff, man, getting like 5 pizzas at a time. It was insane.
Yeah. Pizza Hut is about the most American pizza you can get, I think. Maybe Domino's, but
I miss the old Pizza Hut, man. Remember how you used to walk in and it was like in those kind of A-frame type of restaurants. You
yeah.
actually had like service where people come bring you your stuff. Hot pizza, man. Everything is self-service now. Everything is. You see, Navy cop says he wrecked his back doing a dune buggy tour near Dubai. Hey, not service connected, dog. You are an R&R.
You just got the forehead to microphone. That's my
Yeah, there you
official
go.
my official response to that.
Oh man, military Mike says when he was in Afghanistan, he had steak and crab legs every Friday at the dining facility for dinner. That sounds like some Marine Corps birthday, Navy birthday type of stuff, man. That was a special occasion. But you know what? When I was deployed, man, I ate the best. They had like the best chow holes and
Yep.
dining facilities out there when I was in Camp TQ, Al Taqatum, and they had an enormous chow hall. I love that thing, man. They had everything there, and I remember they had, like, steak and stuff every so often. They had, like, Baskin Robbins, 31 flavors in the back, it was awesome. Japanese Friendship Day is when locals came on base. It was a cool experience. Yeah, that's right, Japanese Friendship Day. Japanese Friendship Day, man. You know what I did enjoy about, being out in Japan, dude, was, they had this one day, if you lived off base in the local community, one day, I think it might have been once a year or every couple months, the entire community gets together and they do a community cleanup. They pick the weeds, they sweep the sidewalks, they trim the hedges. Like everybody comes together and does that to ensure that their community looks good. And I remember we were trying to get a soccer game going at one point, and I asked one of the captains I was with, I'm like, "Hey, you coming or what?" And he's like, "Man, I got this damn community cleanup, and I can't get out of that. I got to help out." Let me see. 24-hour barbecue defense. Ooh, man. Mike, man, I would be a fat kid if I had a 24-hour barbecue. I remember when they opened up a chow hall on Camp Pendleton to do 24-hour quick the grab bags or whatever, the quick chow, the quick food. Yeah, the grab and go. And you can come at any hour and go get food. And I remember I was like, it was right down the street from me from my barracks room. And I recall like, "Hey man, I'm bored, let me just go grab some fast chow." And I was like, I started getting fluffy after that, man. I'm like, I gotta tone it down. I gotta pump the brakes here, man. It could be a dangerous thing.
We need to turn this into the military culinary podcast. It sounds like.
There you go. Hey man, it's all about the memories, dude. The memories. TQ is the only place in Western Iraq that had metal silverware at the chow hall. Yes. And you know what I loved about it is as soon as you walk in at TQ Chow Hall, they had like this crate of Rippets. Just grab a little can. Yep. Grab your Rip It and go. Grab it and go. Right. And then they had the worst tasting granola bars. I forgot the name of the granola bar. It was disgusting. It was like Hua bars. They were Hua bars. Yep. That's what they were.
Super dry and crunchy and cracky. But it's like,
yeah. But I'm like, when you had nothing else, your Hua bar in your cargo pocket melting away in the 120-degree sun was your best friend. Hua bars, dude. And then they had these pogs that had they were like coins. Instead of sending coins out to the bases, they would have these paper pogs. Remember pogs with the slammers and all that?
Yep.
They'd have like 25 cents printed on them, 50 cents, 10 cents. So you would I wish I had some of those still, man. I know I had like a ton of them back in the day. And they said AFES on it. And that's how you would pay. That's how you'd pay with, in change.
Yeah, because I
there you go, Josh. Man. Yep. Josh stuff. And they also didn't they wouldn't send out pennies in Japan. It was too costly to send pennies out to Japan. So if you were owed change that required pennies, you just didn't get that change.
Yep.
I asked about it. I was like, "Hey, I'm supposed to get 2 cents back." They're like, "Oh yeah, we don't do that." I'm like, what?
Not today, mister.
There you go. Navy cop calling you out, man. Naples and the surrounding small town trattorias. Speaking of calling.
Yeah. Same everywhere in Italy, actually. If you go out and about and you find a sign that says trattoria on it, it's usually one of those kind of I would make it's similar to like a trucking diner that you would find on the side of some interstate
like
somewhere. Stop. And you go in and rest stop, but a lot of the restaurants have modern like Wendy's and McDonald's and all that stuff. But some of these truck stops that you can go to, they'll have these, it's like a bar / restaurant. and you go in, you pay like $10 or $15, and you
Mhm.
basically just get this mountain of food. That's what a trattoria is for me here in Italy. You find
Mhm.
them out and about. I mean, they have some in the city that are called that the same, but they're not the same as the ones that you find outside of the city, in these little remote places. And you go there, and they just give you a mountain of food for like pennies, and you can get fat in those places real quick, easy.
Man, I thought it was just like a mom and pop place. I never knew what it was. I'd go and eat at trattorias, and it was just like a little restaurant. Maybe it's just what they
Yep.
named it. I don't know. I don't know. Let me see. Military Mike here. Oh, excuse me. In Afghanistan, we all barbershops had Chinese barber. I don't know why I find that funny, and they were pretty good. Was it like that for y'all too? No, no. And when I was in Iraq, they had like Pakistani barbers, I guess,
Yeah.
Pakistani dudes, um, and they would give you this thing called we would call it the mansage, right? The mansage. So
Oh, on
you get your
the back
haircut,
of the neck and the head.
you get your haircut, and they do this thing right here, like hit you in the back of the
Yeah.
head, right? And then they give you the massage, and then they start like massaging your scalp. And the guy next to me was getting his eyebrows done somehow, um, and like the middle of it, because he had like the unibrow,
The unibrow.
but they wouldn't use clippers on it or tweezers. They would do this thing with like
Use
this
the strings.
the floss, yeah, the string,
Yeah.
one end in their mouth, and then like a circle, and then they would do this thing with the floss on their not even with their mouth, but their like with their hand, and then they would take out the
Yeah.
hair somehow. That was kind of cool, but yeah, the massage, man. And when I first got it, I didn't know anything about it. I was like, man, I just because I would cut my own hair. I even took my clippers out to Iraq, and my clippers went bad. So I'm like, all right, I got to go get a haircut, man. Um, every Monday or every Sunday, go get a haircut and all that. And I sat down. This dude's like doing the massage. And I was about to get up, and he like sits me back down and starts doing the massage. I'm like, what? What the hell's going on here? I heard about it, but I didn't think it was a thing. But yeah, the massage, man. It's actually pretty good. I wish people would do it here in the States. I don't know.
Yeah, you're not gonna get that treatment. I also asked him one time, I was like, how do you give haircuts with clippers when it's like 120 degrees outside and you guys have no air conditioning in this little hut where you're getting haircuts at? And the guy was like, ceramic blades, man. They stay cool. I was like, huh.
Yeah,
Interesting.
yeah.
Interesting.
And then Brian Hahn brings up in Iraq, the barbers would also I remember seeing that they burn your ear like a little
The lighter.
flame, and they burn the hair off your ear. I ended up buying the whole we call it the Haji shop, right? I mean, that's
Yeah.
probably a derogatory term, right? But it's a little like convenience store. I don't know, like a little shop that sells everything like trinkets, souvenirs, and stuff. I ended up buying like the whole season of The Sopranos, and it was like terrible quality, dude. Terrible. It was like filmed like somebody was like, it's not even like a movie theater. It was just like somebody's living room or something. It was just filmed terribly. But we watched it on my old laptop, me and my roommate. We transitioned from tents to cans when I was out there. They had Tent City in Iraq, and then they brought cans and they started moving everybody into cans. So we were in cans, and that was an adventure. That was pretty cool. It was like two people to a can. It was like basically like a what you think a quad con is, or like a shipping container with an AC
Yep.
unit inside. Had two beds. And when you turn off the lights inside, because it was complete darkness, dude, you could not see a thing. And the bathroom was too far away, so we'd always keep these water bottles that you can find all over base right next to the door, and just nobody wanted to go because it was cold out, cold overnight. So just go to the bathroom, and in your little bottle, man.
Good old days.
Yeah, it really was, man. I really do miss that. I will say I had a tight group of folks that I deployed with, and Um, I do think about those days a lot. I still keep in contact with these guys on WhatsApp and all that stuff. They're all over the country and some of them outside of the country too. But we played this stupid game. You ever watch Waiting, the movie Waiting with
No.
Ryan Reynolds? No. Okay,
No.
well, you got to watch it one day. It's a dumb movie, and they work at a restaurant, and then one of the things they do is they expose themselves to each other, and then if you look, you get a kick in the ass. You're like, oh, why'd you look? And they kick you in the ass. And that was a stupid game going around Iraq when I was out there, and it was terrible. You'd open the door and you'd got a guy just hey, and I'm like, no. They're like, you looked. Turn around. You get a kick in the ass. So yeah, that's
Waiting.
what it was.
Huh.
Stupid things, man. Stupid games.
Interesting. Never seen that movie. I guess that'll be next on my watch list. 2005.
It's not anything credible. It was just a stupid movie. Trust me. Military Mike, I remember those shops in Bagram. He bought a comforter in Bagram, and it was so heavy and thick. We're still talking about comforters, right? Okay.
No.
Let's see.
Oh. Here's one
Oh,
for you.
there we go. I still remember Corporal Del. Yeah, that was me back in the day. Yeah, that was a good time, man. Corporal, and just kind of trying to figure things out, dude. That's it. I was only supposed to do 4 years. That was a plan. My roommate and I in Camp Pendleton were going to get out and go to college, become roommates and stuff. When we got out, I was only supposed to do 4 years, and then something told me like, "Hey, are you sure you want to get out? Are you? What else is there out there for you?" I moved from Florida, and it was like I felt like it was a black hole for me. Like if I wanted to get out of there so bad, I'm like, why am I so quick to want to get back to where I wanted to leave? So, I decided to keep going, and it was like the best decision I ever made, dude. It really was. It really was. A lot of my friends got out. A lot of folks I know got out, and I invited them to my retirement ceremony. They're like, "Damn, dude, I could have been retiring right now." I'm like, yeah, you could have, but not everybody wants to stick it out. I mean, it's not for everybody, right? Everybody's got their life plan.
Yeah, definitely not for everybody. And even today, trying to make that decision to get out and retire is just as difficult, right?
Mm-hmm.
You ask the same questions. What is out there for me? What am I stepping into?
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it's definitely it's been a wild ride, and I think about it a lot because you do most of your adult life in the military if you're retired, right? Or even if you're not, if you did 4 years, that's part of your adult life in the military. Things that you grow a tight bond with folks. You work on things together, you figure things out, you get in trouble together. It's memories, core memories. All right, Navy cop. When the carrier would pull into Jebel Ali, we had a bunch of containers made into stores by the UAE shopkeepers. Food, perfume oils, blankets, and trinkets, and dollar beer made it bearable. That's cool, man. That's cool. Perfume oils.
Yeah, you got to smell good, man.
I can see Navy cop just dabbing some perfume on his neck. Having security of a pension TRICARE suit. Yeah, yes. I was just talking to somebody this week about TRICARE, man. There was this whole thing going around about healthcare costs spiking. And, some of these news channels are talking about, if you live in this area of the country and you make like 100,000 a year total, like between the both of you, husband, wife, or whatever, there's a potential that your healthcare costs could double, triple into like 20,000 plus a year. That was incredible, dude. Like, I don't know, 20,000 a year, man. I mean, I don't know if you could find something on that, John, but about how much
I'll,
healthcare costs are
let me
going to
read.
spike.
Yeah,
I
let
think
me
it's all
read this
location
off to you real
dependent.
quick because I
Yeah.
feel like this is pretty interesting. And feel free to fact check this, double check Wikipedia, and do all the. If you got some comments about it, for sure, share it with us. I'd love to know the truth. But this little thing right here says in 2023, the U.S. spent a total of 4.9 trillion on healthcare, which averages out to about 14,500 per person and represents 17.6% of the country's GDP. That's a huge amount of money. For 2024, the average annual cost of an individual healthcare plan was $8,900 average, meaning it could be 12,000, it could be 6,000. So average about 8,000, about $9,000 for a family was more like $25,000 for an entire family. So I'm guessing that's husband and wife, possibly one or two children. Specific
Yeah.
cost for individuals varies widely based on factors like age, location, and type of plan chosen. That is insane. 17%
That is
of the country's
like
GDP.
some countries have free healthcare, right? I don't know if Italy is one of them. Free
They do.
healthcare or universal healthcare.
Yep.
Yeah. Excuse me. So, I like even here in San Diego, where I live, there's a lot of people who go for the sake of because of the cost. They go across the border, go to Mexico to get
Mhm.
their to see their doctor. It is a fraction of the cost over there, man. And they say that they get just as good healthcare out there as they would here in the US.
Yep.
The prescriptions are, the medication is a quarter of not even a fraction of the price over here, from the States. But and Brian Hahn brings up a good point up here. TRICARE for Family is the cheapest health insurance he has found, and I agree, man. Without TRICARE Prime for families at $62, I think it went up to like 67, maybe. I'm not sure, but still a month. It's incredible. It's incredible. I mean, we use it all the time. And then when I don't use that, I'm using the VA for the rest of my stuff, which
Mhm.
here in SoCal are very responsive.
Active duty have no annual enrollment. Retirees pay an annual enrollment fee of $744 for Group A, 900 for Group B for TRICARE for families.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, $700 versus the 25,000 you just talked about.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? I can't even imagine that. I remember when I was a sergeant, dude. I was living here in San Diego, and my daughter had something going on. I had to take her to the hospital, and it was Rattie's Children's Hospital here, and she stayed in the hospital for I don't know a couple days, 4 days, 5 days. I got a bill for $25,000 in the mail, and like I wasn't up to speed on TRICARE. I didn't realize that I had to send that over to TRICARE for them to do all the stuff, and pay it off. And I looked at my wife. I'm like, oh my god, you know, $25,000. What are we gonna do? And then so I talked to my leadership and I let them know about it. And they're like, dude, just send it over to TRICARE. They'll take care of all that stuff. Yeah,
Mm.
like the ambulance cost, everything, the hospital stay. Dude, ever since then, I was like, oh man, TRICARE all the way, dude. Because 25 grand as a sergeant, young sergeant, man, that wasn't happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, Brian, I'm there with you, buddy. VA in San Diego is awesome. Doesn't matter if you go to La Jolla, Kearney Mesa, wherever you go. I've had nothing but good experiences here, man.
Congrats to Navy Cop, 80%, man. Awesome. Awesome. Awesome.
Oh yeah, making it happen, dude. Making it happen. Just bumped up to 80%. So thankful for that. It has been too costly for me to get on a program and still pay regular bills. VA has been good for me, only speaking for myself. Yeah, man, that's all we can do. But yeah, 80%, man. Congrats. That's awesome, man. Keep on
Nice.
keep on fighting the good fight, man. If you rate the 100, get that 100. He says, I use TRICARE, freelance travels. I use TRICARE for an emergency here in Southeast Asia once, 100% covered. That's awesome. That's awesome. Curious, did you have to call? I know the VA has this thing where you have to call within 3 days if you use an ambulance or go to an emergency room. Wondering if it's the same thing out there with TRICARE. I've not had an emergency with TRICARE, so I don't know exactly if I need to contact them within a certain time frame or just submit the receipts at some point.
Yeah, I think I did. I don't remember if it was emergency care, but I know I've gone to the local docs when I was still on active duty, of course, not as a retiree, in Germany. And that was me just traveling there, visiting my kids, but had to go to the hospital a couple times. And it was literally just grab the paperwork from the hospital. I think we had to get something filled out from the TRICARE, like a sheet filled out from TRICARE by the hospital or the hospital staff or the doc, and then send that back to TRICARE. And then TRICARE basically did the back end, took care of everything. I don't know how that goes for retirees though, but it should be similar because retirees, at least the individual, maybe not the family plan, depends on you have the family plan or not. But the individual for sure is still basically TRICARE covered. Like I went, as I mentioned, I went to the hospital over last Monday, I guess it was. And and they asked me, they're like, are you TRICARE? Are you now they asked me, are you a retiree or are you a government civilian? I was like, yes, both. I don't know. So but my TRICARE falls under my retiree card, not my civilian cards.
Yeah. Well, it definitely is a good perk to have, man. I don't know where I'd be if I didn't have it. And then like my daughter is we had to renew the whole TRICARE thing because she is in school. I guess they track all that stuff, right? If you're going to school full time, then I think you get TRICARE until 23. So she's still good for another couple of years. But I told her, hey, look, what are you going to do afterwards? Finish school, go get a job, find something that gives you a good health insurance because things are going up. Things are going up. Ambulance ride to a local hospital for my first kidney stone and owed $15,000 for that. VA community care paid for it. Good. First kidney stone.
Insane. 15 grand just for the ride to get it looked at.
Hell no. Hey, no more kidney stones there, Navy cop.
Take an Uber next time, man.
Yeah, for real. Can you imagine you're like bleeding out and shit? Fuck.
Probably get there quicker.
The Uber guy comes. Can you imagine that? The Uber guy comes, you're fucking sweating, bleeding. Give me a ride to the hospital. He's like, really?
I brought my own plastic bags. Don't worry. I got hefty bags. It's cool.
Yeah. Like Dexter, huh? You're putting plastic everywhere. Yeah. 7mm stone. Oh. Says I was in active duty for that one here recently. Retiree I had to visit, file a claim. Jury's still out. Yeah, well, hopefully everything works out, dude. Because hopefully everything works out. Yeah, man. So I was at the grocery store maybe about 2 months back, and there was this dude there. He was like, it looked like he was hurting, like his leg was all busted up and all that. And I asked him, I was like, hey man, you all right, dude? Like everything okay? And it was him and the little girl was his daughter, right? And she's like, my dad is hurt, blah blah, and we can't make it to the house. I'm like, okay, well, where do you all live? They're like, oh, we live like 2 or 3 blocks down. We walked here. I'm like, okay, well, in my mind, I'm like, I'm not going to give you a ride, but I will call you an Uber. So I called him an Uber, and this dude was like, again, sweating like crazy. And he was like, I don't know if he had some kind of medical shit going on, but I'm like, all right, let me just call this dude an Uber. And sure enough, the Uber driver came in his Prius. And then, like I waved him down, right? And I'm like, hey, you're this guy. And he's like, yeah. I'm like, okay, the ride's not for me. It's for this guy right here who might need medical attention. So just FYI, he's like, oh, okay. I'm like, it's on you now, Uber driver. Go ahead.
Enjoy that.
Yeah, enjoy that. So I got him in the car, and then I don't know what happened afterwards. I assume he took him home, but Okay, I think the typical rate for TRICARE Select Overseas claims is about 70% reimbursement. Okay. Well, I mean, $15,000, 70% reimbursement. I'd rather pay 70% of that than, or 30% of that than 15,000 in full.
File through overseas portal. Yeah, I don't see the price on it or anything, but you definitely have to go through the overseas portal, and patient request for medical payment DD form 2642 is what's required for overseas select TRICARE Overseas Select claims reimbursements.
Yeah. Yeah, the VA could definitely do a better job about putting the information out there easily. Like somebody had asked me about the Rudisill Act, the Educational Act. For those out there listening about the Rudisill Act, it's the extra 12 months that you would get on top of your post 9/11 GI Bill if you served during the time of your Montgomery GI Bill and then had to switch over to the post 9/11. Most likely you would rate an extra 12 months on top of the 36 months that post 9/11 already gives you. So that's called the Rudisill Act after Captain Rudisill from the Army, who asked about using his extra benefits, the kicker, I think they call it. And then he was denied that. He took it all the way to the Supreme Court. Supreme Court ruled last April that, yes, veterans who served between that time frame from Montgomery GI Bill to post 9/11 GI Bill do get the extra 12 months, total of 48 months for college benefits. So there you go. Thanks for that, John. Yeah. So the Rudisill Act. So folks were asking about, hey, how do I apply for that? How do I get that? I'm like, well, it's not. I mean, it's as clear as mud on the VA site, right? So what you got to do is the easiest way I found it. Go up to the search bar at the VA.gov site. Just type in Rudisill, RUDISS. Is it RUDISILL? And that will take you to, yeah, right there. You just skipped it. VA form 22-1995. That is what you need to fill out in order to get, in order to see if you rate the Rudisill Act. And then you will go, it probably takes about a month or so while they review all your stuff, probably longer now because the government's shut down. But yeah, you click on that, just fill it out. About a month later, you get something on your education benefits that say that the Rudisill Act is applied if you rate it.
Drop the link in the comments to this specific page that we were on. Then that basically takes you and gives you all the information, and then you can go to the form.
Yeah, thanks for that, man. Yeah. I mean, folks out there wanted to know. I'm like, look, I've done this before. I've already applied for that thing. And here's how you do it. But they make it clear as day or clear as mud, man. I mean, there's nothing that says, hey, apply here now. You know, you have to like actually read the stuff and go down each site and see, okay, well, in small font, fill out VA form, whatever 95. And then we'll get you the Rudisill stuff. And it's not automatically applied, so you have to apply for that stuff, right? So that's also a thing. So I don't think that it's automatic. It definitely isn't. Definitely isn't. So
we had a question from Brian. Maybe it's a question. I don't know. It's a statement. It ends with a period. Info for emergency care for TRICARE. If you're talking about retirees specifically, then from what I'm looking at, it's basically you need to cover the upfront costs, and then you contact TRICARE within 24 hours. Call the MHS nurse advice line if you need advice on whether you need immediate care or not. But you can take emergency care. It looks like you just got to contact your PCM or your contractor, regional contractor, within 24 hours or the next business day after receiving emergency care. So you can go ahead and follow up and fill out whatever paperwork you need and get reimbursed for that. But it looks like you have to foot the bill up front. Claims TRICARE for life. Yeah.
Awesome. So I was going to make a video on, I just finished watching this Netflix thing called Boots. It's like a show of about military or a Marine Corps boot camp. So it shows it's somewhere like in the 90s. It takes place in like 1997 or something like that.
Mhm.
It follows this Marine Corps recruit, homosexual Marine Corps recruit who is going through a bunch of stuff, inner monologues and stuff going through boot camp. I found it quite funny. Some of the stuff was very inaccurate, as we know that a lot of these shows are. But I did reach out to the author. I'm like, hey, look, I'd like to talk to you. I'd like to talk to you about your show. Talk about, potentially. I don't know how much this guy gets emails, but potentially that might happen. Get him on the podcast or something. But yeah, very curious. So he wrote the book called The Pink Marine. I've never
Mhm.
read it before, but the show is based off of that book. Entertaining show. It really is. I mean, I think the drill instructors did a pretty good job. The one thing I would say about that show is that there's no way that anybody was talking to other recruits that much in boot camp. No way. You're not having full on conversations and stuff in boot camp like that. Yeah. So what is accurate is the toilets. There's no stalls, no walls and stuff in the toilet. So you're literally just having conversations with the guy next to you or the guy across from you while you both are sitting on, doing your thing, sitting down doing your thing. But that was accurate. A couple other little things, right? But yeah, there was no drill instructors come in and talk to you. Like person to person, like, hey, what are you feeling? What are you doing? Unless it's like the senior drill instructor who is trying to do his like nightly thing and talking to you about what life is like or whatever the hell they do, right?
Yep.
But yeah, it's a very entertaining show. It is. There is
Haven't
another
seen it.
documentary coming out in November called Marines on Netflix, which I reached out to the director of that show to see about her coming on. And also executive director was one of the directors, I think, was Sebastian Junger, who we know wrote Tribe.
Mhm.
He's an author, so I reached out
Yep.
to him as well to see what he's got to say. But yeah, a lot of good stuff coming out, man, especially probably for the 250th anniversary of the Marine Corps as well.
Mhm. More healthcare news. Freelance travels for folks retiring or about to retire abroad. TRICARE Select Overseas is the way, and it is paid up front. We're considering an alternative health insurance so that we will only file claims to TRICARE when for what's left. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, you can really actually do something like that depending if you're married to a local national or you're married to another expat who happens to have I guess depending on your situation, whether you have local residency or not, you could potentially do that and get the local health care and use TRICARE to cover everything else on the back end. It's also a way to do it. Very smart.
Yeah. That's good. I like that. Spreading the good information for everybody else out there who may not know about it and trying to get into that. Navy cop says boot camp in Orlando before it was shut down. Walls and stalls. Boot camp in Orlando. Where? Where in
Sounds
Orlando?
like
I'm from Orlando.
you said Disneyland? Is that where they had that?
No. Hell no. Disney. Probably in Pine Hills. That's like, it sounds nice. It's the fucking worst place in Orlando, dude. I was just in Orlando for, just, what was it? Oh, no. September. Last month. Yeah, I was just in Orlando.
Hmm.
Yeah, visiting out there, visiting the family out there. It's a good spot, man. It is. It's just tons of like HOA communities and stuff, unless you live out in like the woods and stuff. But it's not a bad spot.
Naval Training Center. Interesting.
Where is it?
Used to be at the Naval Training Center. I think they bracked it though. Maybe.
There's randomly a Navy exchange behind the Orlando airport.
Really?
Random as hell. Randomly, yeah. So I was taking a ride back there. One of my buddies lives out past the Orlando airport, like kind of behind it. There's like neighborhoods and stuff back there. And I was driving behind this one road where you see like all the UPS deliveries and stuff go to the airport. And there's randomly an NEX there. I don't know if it's still there. I assume it might be, but Navy Exchange right there behind Orlando Airport.
Huh. Maybe. 7151 Earhart Drive, Orlando, Florida.
What's that?
Closes 6
Is it the NEX?
the Navy Exchange. Navy Exchange. It says Navy Exchange Barbershop.
Why would you go to the Navy Exchange barbershop all the way by the airport when Orlando's full of barbershops? I don't know.
No idea. No idea.
The $5 haircuts. Not even, right? They're all, I haven't paid for a haircut in, oh gosh, I paid for 2 haircuts maybe while I was active duty. I haven't, aside from that, I haven't paid for a haircut in 22 years, man. I've been cutting my own hair for 22 years. And then I've taken my boys out there to go get haircuts here locally. And with tip and everything, it comes out to like $70 for both of them with tip. And I'm like, 70. I mean, they have long hair, right? Really thick, long hair. I'm not well versed in cutting it with scissors. I'm just like a kind of high and tight kind of guy, right? Just fade it up. But yeah, it's expensive, man. All right, freelance travels. Have a good one, man.
Yeah, man. Thanks for hanging out with us, and thanks for giving us some really good information. I'd love to hear your stories from the other side of the planet as well, even further ahead on the timeline as I. Yeah, you were at Navy Exchange and Navy Exchange Barbershop right behind the Orlando, like literally right off the flight line.
Yeah, yeah.
Crazy.
Hey, man, I drove by there one time and I'm like, why is this here? So Navy cop goes to Sports Clips. He says he pays about $35. Oh, you get the what do they call it at Sports Clips? It's
The MVP,
the Pro or MVP. Navy Cop. We got to change the name to Navy Cop MVP now.
Yeah.
All right, Brian, man. Good to see you, man. Oh man. But yeah, man, it's things are getting expensive, dude. I was just at Costco the other day, and I like to buy the ribeye steaks, right? I'm a big fan of the ribeye steaks.
Mm-hmm.
And I noticed that it was like $20 more expensive than it normally is. And I asked the dude there, I'm like, hey, is it me or are these steaks way more expensive than they were like 2 weeks ago? And he's like, yeah, they're getting expensive. They're going up. For the last couple months, they've been going up $1 a week, he says. So, or the last month or so, $1 a week. The steaks have been going. So, suffice to say, I'm probably not going to start a carnivore diet anytime soon. So those things are getting expensive. You know, it was like a pack of 5 ribeye steaks for like $80. They used to be like 60 or even like 50s. I'm like, it hurts to try to buy those things now.
Yeah, I'm not spending that kind of money on meat. Not even close. Not even going to do that.
No, man. No. You got to choose wisely, man.
No.
You got to choose wisely these days. Yeah. So let me see if I got any other updates on these. These damn things.
Got one left,
Veterans,
maybe two left.
property tax.
No, we did that
Property
one.
tax, computer glitch, funding bills, soldiers being contacted by adversaries, Air Force Qatar, Air Force facility. Yeah, a whole lot going on, man. A whole lot going on. They had this was big on the news yesterday, especially here in San Diego, like LA. A bunch of the big cities had these these known kings protests and stuff. So just exercising your First Amendment rights, man. Just getting out there and doing what you got to do if that's what you want to do. So just know your rights. Know your rights. But yeah, there was, like they said, estimated about 7 million people were out there doing their thing. So crazy stuff. Crazy stuff.
Tons going on in the world.
There's a whole lot, man. A whole lot. Let me see. What else we got going on here? Damn, I think that might be good for the podcast, man, for today.
Yeah.
We're a whole lot going on. Love to connect with folks out there. You can find us on YouTube, Military Retirement Podcast. Mo Perspective, welcome to the podcast. What's going on? Thank you for joining us. Everybody out there listening, thank you all for joining us on this podcast, Military Retirement Podcast, the Green Logbook, all the places that we're streaming here. We're on Facebook, we're on LinkedIn, all the places. We just sprinkle a little bit across all of them, right? So if you want to connect with us, if you got something, some kind of topic that maybe we should talk about that you're interested in, if you got something that maybe somebody who might be a good guest for the podcast, shoot us an email at info@militaryretirementpodcast.com. That goes to John and I both, so we'll both see it. I'm also at thegreenlogbook@gmail.com if you're looking at this from the Green Logbook side. And what else? What else are we up to lately? I think that's
about it, man. Putting out a little more on Substack. If you want to check out the Substack, it is militaryretirementpodcast.substack.com, I believe. militaryretirementpodcast.substack.com. If you want to catch some of the recaps of the shows or get in your news, if you send us an email on the Facebook group, Military Retirement Facebook group, and you get added to the email list, then you can also jump on there as well. I'll put it in the chat for the Substack, and get notifications when we publish new episodes to Spotify and Apple, iTunes, whatever it's called now. The most recent stuff is going to be here on the show, on YouTube, on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on the live stream. Everything else is kind of pushed out a week at a time. Usually on Fridays is when I push those out. Fridays midday my time, which would be early morning East Coast time. So you can catch all those audio versions if you're walking around or doing exercise or doing some lawn work and you want to listen to the episodes. You can listen to them on Spotify or iTunes or Stitcher, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Also on YouTube Music. But you can catch those episodes as they get caught up week by week. Pretty much every Friday is when I publish those out. And then once in a while, I'll send out a Substack little blog post that'll pop into your email. If you want to get the breakdown of what's going on in the episode, you can get those there.
Yeah. And definitely join up. If you got Facebook, join up on the Military Retirement Group. We just approved maybe 20 folks on there not too long ago, and people are asking questions on there. A lot of good information. A lot of folks coming on there saying that they are within, I don't know, a couple months of getting out, retiring, or separating from the military, and they just want some good information on what they need to know before they get out. And what I always tell them is you need to go check out the bottom line up front. Okay, what you need to know before you leave the military. It's a book that John and I wrote on what we wished we knew when we were leaving the military, right? we only found out about this stuff after the fact, after talking to so many veterans, kind of doing a lot of research on the stuff. So it's an ebook for right now. If you've got Kindle Unlimited, it's free for you. We just want to get all the information out to the community and let you all know maybe some things that you should think about when leaving the military, or even beyond the military when you have already left the service. So definitely check that out. Bottom line up front. I think that's good, man.
Yep.
Oh, have you gotten
27
anything real quick, John? Have you got anything from one of our guests
Not
in the
yet.
mail? Ah,
Takes a while to get stuff to FPO address, man.
come on, dude. Come on.
It might be here
All
this
right,
week.
well.
We'll see.
Might be. Okay, sounds good. With that, thank you all for joining us on the Military Retirement Podcast, whether you're watching this on Military Retirement Podcast or the Green Logbook, on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on wherever else we're streaming to. I don't even know. Maybe the va.gov site. I don't know where else we're streaming to. But
Someday.
thank you all. Yeah, someday. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for being with us. Every Sunday, 8 a.m. Pacific time, 11 a.m. Eastern time. And I'm not sure what time it is over in Sicily or in Italy where you are. But find us here. And thanks for joining us.
We'll catch y'all later. Have
Out
a good
here.
one. Out here.